The following Defending Our America episode is presented without commercial interruption by Sig Sauer.
America is the #1 drug-consuming nation in the world.
And where there's demand, there's going to be supply.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Any insurgency that's run by contraband lasts 7 times longer than an average insurgency. So the Taliban would have faded away by now if they didn't have poppy, if they didn't have the heroin trade. That's what's keeping the Taliban in action. Because without contraband, they have no way to carry on. They have no means. It's their only means. It's the only form
there's no
of
doubt
financial support
we're
they have.
funding their war.
The American
along with ours.
people are funding the killing of
Absolutely.
the American soldiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they're doing.
You know, our job on the war on terror is to go find out where they're at, where they're going, what they're doing, where their movements are, how they're making movements. In order to do that, we had to make alliances with the warlords out there. So our war on terror quickly compromised our war on drugs. Now, all of a sudden, almost a decade and a half later, what was once 7% of the intake of, you know, our drug use was 7% from the Middle East regions. Now it's over 70%. It's just amazing. And opium products are at an all-time high coming from those regions. So, you know, we kind of sold out when we went after the war on terror. Our war on drugs became non-existent.
They're all interlaced. I mean, I spent 2 years down on the southwest border as an intelligence officer, and one of the things that you know that we discovered was the cooperation between the Mexican drug cartels and people from countries that we would, or places where we would call countries of interest. Someone from, say, Afghanistan or Yemen or something were to approach them and say, hey, we'd like to have some help getting, you know, people or material or something into the U.S., and, you know, we're going to pay you $10,000 to do it. You know, they're capitalists. They're going to take the money and do whatever it takes to, you know, to earn it and help out the people who are seeking their assistance. So the cartels, the Mexicans that are making money, and the terrorists are getting what they're looking for, which is access into the U.S.
The cartel members, they don't care about their own country. Why in the hell are they going to care about the U.S.? All they care about is their profit level and staying in business and doing what's good for them at the time. If it means that some guy comes into our country and they sneak him through and he goes to, let's say, Las Vegas and blows something up, cartel doesn't give a shit because it doesn't affect them, it affects us.
What people in America, I think, don't understand is that somebody profits when they buy drugs. Any kind of illicit drug is coming from somewhere, most likely outside the United States. And when it comes to heroin especially, it's coming from Afghanistan. And if the drugs are coming from Afghanistan, that means your money, if you're buying those drugs, especially heroin, are going back to Afghanistan. And they're going back in the pockets of not street-level drug dealers, but high-level terrorists. The Haqqani network and Taliban and Al-Qaeda fund most of their operations in Afghanistan and around the world via the drug trade. So anybody that's buying heroin in the United States is supporting the killing of Afghanis, innocent Afghanis, and American soldiers. Direct correlation.
It seems as though they are more concerned about that moment of instant gratification that they receive from the narcotics than they are about the damage that they're not only doing to themselves, but the injury and death that they're causing to our soldiers on the battlefield.
Every drug addict that's out there, everyone that recreationally uses drugs, if you've got someone in your family that's in the military or involved in that conflict one way or the other, you are putting your family members at risk every time you use that.
Next time on Defending Our America.
I like the thought of the drones. I like it in conjunction with manpower responding to
Well,
it.
the problem
So
is,
if
though,
you
that
guys
you
are doing
have to be very restrictive when you start using things like that. You have to hold your leaders accountable.